Hey guys, it's Adam aka Swimming Bird, and welcome to another Minecraft 1.9 update. Today we're going to be covering snapshots 16W3A, 4A, and 5A and B with some major changes to talk about. We've got another big revamp with a lot of improvements to boats, as well as tweaks to explosion damage, knockback, attack strength, and all those little things that made people very grumpy a few weeks ago. They've been adjusted now, and they're much improved. Now, before we get into it, I did quickly want to mention the developers have been having some computer problems these last few weeks. Jeb's computer just kind of died on him, but Dinnerbone actually had his cat barf into his computer, so I just wanted to mention that in case, ocelots were removed from the game for 1.9 for some reason. I don't know why they would do that. We know who to point the finger at. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, the last snapshot update we did, creepers took a huge nerf. Not only that, but explosion damage was basically cut in half. So these guys, they won't walk as close to you now when they explode, but in this snapshot, the explosion damage has been buffed again. Hold on, buddy, I'm not even in survival. He's already trying to give me a little creeper kiss. Okay, so now even if you have full diamond armor on, you are most likely gonna die. But if you have it enchanted, you'll probably be okay. And as you can see, I do in fact die with no armor on. In that last snapshot we covered, you would still survive in that situation, which is really kind of crazy since creeper explosions are supposed to be scary. So I think having that happen when you have, no armor on and you still survive is not really the way to go. Most people agreed. You guys also chimed in the comments, and I thank you for that. Now, one more time here, I'm going to try a little bit of blast protection. You saw I still died with full diamond armor, which is it's still pretty scary. It makes, creepers a force to be reckoned with still in the game. Now, if we try a little bit of blast protection, I should be okay. There we go. I did actually have a creeper blow up when I was testing with just normal diamond armor on, and I still had a heart and a half left, so they won't always get you when you're wearing all that diamond armor, but now they're scary again, which is pretty good. The explosion damage is actually still a little bit less than it was in earlier versions of the game, so they're not quite as deadly, and just most explosions in general aren't going to be as, scary in 1.9, at least for now. They might change this again, but it is nice that the creepers kind of got their fangs back, and they're scarier again. Now, a lot of damage types were causing knockback. That was a glitch in those earlier snapshots of bugs, so they have fixed that. You're not going to get knockback from fall damage anymore, as you can see here. I just take the fall damage, and I don't get another little jolt of knockback off of a high cliff or something, killing people. A lot of that stuff used to happen in the old game, knockback from drowning, stuff like that, but no longer. We don't want to see that return. Now, a few of the other things that were tweaked, let me get my creeper buddy back here. You can see attack strength has been nerfed a little bit again. So when you spam attacks now with the newest attack strength system, if you haven't learned about that, try to go back to some of those old snapshots because it is pretty important to 1.9. You can see I'm doing a lot of damage because I am waiting a little bit between my attacks. Now in the last snapshot, you could still kind of click spam and do about 50% of the damage, and it was pretty strong still. They have kind of nerfed that a little bit again back down to 20%. So if you do click spam, it's going to take quite a few slashes with the old sword. You're not going to really do that much, but if you do space the attacks, then of course you're going to do a lot more damage and take stuff down. Now, not only that, they did add a feature a while back in 1.9 that armor will actually be reduced in effectiveness if your attack strength is higher. So you can actually kind of make armor not as effective. It can only have about 20% of its effectiveness. It used to be 25%, but they've even lowered that as well. So as long as you use the attack strength system to kind of, not just kind of spam your attacks, you want to space it out, of course, you will hit a cow on a bottom, and you will get that damage that you need to take down players that have higher armor, or, as long as you're playing smart, you should be able to contend with any player, no matter how much enchantments and stuff they have on their armor. So we do want to talk about some other features real quick. There are some things like the chat box is a little higher up for some reason. Don't know why they adjusted that. That's a little weird, but who knows? It's cool looking either way. So we're going to go over to the boats now. Now, boats, they were a little weird in the update not too long ago. They added these paddles, and you had to actually, push right and left in sync to go. Like you had to paddle both ways and different, mess with the paddles to try to go forward. It was really strange. It's hard to describe, but if you go back to that the boat snapshot, you'll see when they added those in. But now it is back to basics. You just push forward to go forward, you push left and right to turn, and you can even back it up. Beep, beep, beep. All right, so, but yeah, the boats are a lot better now than they were in terms of controlling them, and they're also super quick, and they don't kind of veer off as much when you're dashing around. So you can see, whoa, be careful. In the old update, you would just kind of be breaking your boat if you collided into stuff, but they are really fast now, and this is awesome. They can just mow through lily pads. That is very fulfilling to do, to just kind of break through, and that's a good way to collect lily pads as well, because it'll leave them all in the water for you to collect there. You can see there's a ton of them. So yeah, lily pads, they were kind of like mines for boats in some of the older updates, but now you can just break through. Very easy there. Now, lily pads, I did want to mention as well, the little bounding box, their hitbox here has been adjusted a bit. I think they're even smaller than they were before, so that items don't just kind of bounce off of them. That was a bug in previous snapshots. If you do hold right and left at the same time when you're trying to paddle this, you will just kind of stay in place, and it looks really weird now. I hope they add an animation where your arms grab the paddles. You know, the only weird thing about that, though, is if you're paddling, how are you also using a sword? You can't actually attack when you are paddling, but it just looks a little weird. I think you should probably be able to... Oh, you can, okay. So you can kind of attack and paddle. I don't know what magic's going on here, but it's game logic, so I'm not going to question it too much. I'd just like to see the hands actually grab the paddles when you're moving around, even if you can still do things with your items while you're in the boat. So yeah, the boats are a lot faster and more consistent. Now, they do have a big weakness. They fixed a bug where water would, sorry, lily pads everywhere. The water used to appear in the boat when the water levels kind of bounced around. They got rid of that, so the boats are now dry inside, which looks a lot nicer. But they will sink if you go underwater that's above it. They will fill with water a bit and then go down underneath, and you'll have to, kind of like minecarts, you got to go down here and you got to punch them a few times to break them, and then you can pick them up. So this is not a big deal. If you're in the middle of the ocean and that happens, though, you're going to be swimming quite a ways down to get your boat. So be careful about that. You don't want to go under, you don't want to go chasing any waterfalls. TLC told us about that. All right. So that's pretty much it for boats, though. Oh, another quick little feature, though, that is nice. Can't fly when I'm not in creative. If you're in a boat and you want to dismount, it now kind of works like minecarts, where it will put you onto a block for the shore, like how if you get out of a minecart, it tries to find a nice place for you to land that's not in lava or water. If you're, swimming out in your boat, sailing around, and you try to jump out when you're in the water, of course you're still going to jump into the water, but if you are near a solid block, you can see how much faster these are. If you're near a solid block, it will try to dismount you onto that, which is a nice little addition. And then right here, you can see the crafting recipe for boats back to how it used to be. No longer need a shovel to make these paddles, so you're just gonna, sculpt them out of wood. You got tools on the crafting table on the sides there. You don't really need, a shovel to make paddles. I'm sure you could just saw a few out of the extra planks. That's a lot of wood going into one boat. Anyways, okay. So minecarts, there's a few little additions to them. When you are crouching and you try to click, like right-click onto it to get in, you won't go inside. So you can kind of make sure you're not accidentally getting in any minecarts if you're gonna crouch and sneak around. And then also, if you give them a custom name, there is that new feature in 1.9 where the custom names can be always visible no matter how far away you are. That was added way back in the first snapshot, but now you can do that with minecarts here. So this is Cartney, and if you want to, spawn one in for yourself, it's pretty simple here. You can just summon one in. There you go. Now, a few other things. I wanted to mention the trap chest over here. The recipe for this thing is now formless, so if you want to make a trap chest, you don't have to remember where the chest and where the tripwire hook goes. It will always make the trap chest no matter where you place them on there, kind of like flint and steel and stuff like that. I like formless recipes. Makes it a lot easier to remember how to make stuff. Alright, so I'm going to boost my volume a little bit here, because we have some new sound effects that I want to play for you guys. So, chests. A lot of people complain chests only have that one opening closing sound and it got really monotonous. Chests have a lot of sound variation now. It almost sounds like a monster burping. It's not that zombie. It's kind of scary, but I like it. You can hear the old sound in there occasionally, but it does have a nice weird new quality to it there. And then, of course, we've got some other sounds over here. We've got wooden doors. So you can hear the old sounds mixed in. They still have those. There's just a few other sounds to mix it up a bit. And then iron doors have a nice, unique sound now. More metallic. And then fence gates over here. Can make a nice beat. Somebody make a song out of that. All right. So yeah, they've added some more sounds, just like they've been doing for 1.9. There's a lot of little unique sound effects. Thorns Armor, the Thorns enchantment, this little zombie has some on, and you can hear when he takes damage, and or when I take damage from hitting him with thorns, I will get a little nice sound effect. It's kind of like a bunk. You can kind of hear it there. I did set it up over here because the zombie is so loud. I wanted you guys to be able to hear it. So it's kind of like bink. Just a little like poke, like a pinprick. It makes sense that that would be the sound for thorns. And then I think we've got one more over here. Rain, nowhere near as annoying as it used to be. It's kind of pleasant now. It's more ambient. Just kind of sprinkling around. Just not as loud as it used to be. A little more realistic, I guess, is the word that you can say. So I like it. I might not turn my weather sounds all the way down like I normally do. I put it at like 3% normally because the rain can kind of be obnoxious, but now it's a lot nicer, more soothing. So there's some changes to a few other things here before I get into the bug fixes. The /achievement command, when you use that to change your achievements, it would affect statistics in the past. You'd have to deal with your statistics changing, and a lot of people wanted to keep track of that stuff accurately despite messing with the achievements. So no longer will that do that. And a few other bugs here. A lot of bugs related to boats were fixed, but there were some other things as well. Endermen were not attacking when you stared at them within 5 blocks or so. They just kind of ignored you and not, worried about it. The sunflower plains, a lot of the different biome types, like the medium biomes and sunflower plains, were not spawning in snapshots. They have fixed that as well now, and I can see a nice little ice plains over there too. So getting a lot of variation in the biomes again. I want to see those jungles popping up. They're super rare to find now, so hopefully they fix some of the bugs with biomes popping up. Endermen and blazes, if they're sitting in boats as a passenger, because remember, you can get a little passenger in these boats if you push things into it. The Endermen and blazes were actually taking damage from being exposed to the water because they're kind of sinking in a little bit. So no longer, you can put them in boats and not worry about that. And a few of the other things, zombies and skeletons were not actually taking sunlight damage from being in boats. There we go. Creeper's in there for me. Let's put another one in maybe. There we go. Creeper buddy's going on a romantic little lily pad stroll. So yeah, the skeletons and zombies were immune to fire damage from sunlight when they were in a boat, but no longer. Shulkers were just spinning endlessly in the boats. That was really funny to look at, but ooh, he just did a double take. That was weird. Still a little glitchy. So they fixed the thing with shulkers, and then small mobs like endermites and things were drowning when in boats, but they fixed that as well. And then wolves were sinking into grass paths. A lot of weird interactions with mobs. And one more thing, I did a special clip for this one because this is such a cool bug. If you placed a boat on a slime block in some of the earlier snapshots and you waited, the longer you waited, the better this would get. It would actually propel you up hundreds of blocks into the air and fly. This is crazy. So yeah, if you if you want to mess around with the snapshots, maybe make a world, you could do some cool boat stuff if you use some of the ones that were a little bit farther back in the 15W41 region. Try that out. Very cool looking, but obviously a bug, so they had to fix that. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's all the snapshot updates from the last couple weeks here, but we've got more to come. They are trying to fix a lot of bugs and different things to get 1.9 out. Hopefully before the summer or something. We'll see it. We might get it by the end of the winter. Who knows? I'm trying to be hopeful about it. I know it takes them a long time, but they've only got a handful of staff working on a huge game, so we'll see when it comes out. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this, and maybe subscribe if you haven't. I will see you next time for some more Minecraft updates. Goodbye.